Falcon Winter Soldier Episode 2. This episode was predominantly to feature more about them together and establish really what the show is. And the first episode was just establish them separately as characters, as well as establish the new Captain America played by Wyatt Russell. It kind of establishes like the main story of the show. It's interesting how this show is very economical, very much like this is the point of this episode. It's very much almost like how The Mandalorian works, where it's a very simple, economical kind of action show. Very different structurally from WandaVision. I like that. It seems like a lot of people don't. I think because of the juxtaposition might not have worked out in Marvel's favor, to be honest with you. But this is more about, this is what this show is. This is an average sort of episode kind of thing, but it mainly moves in like, this is the mystery, this is the problem, the new Cap. You already know these guys and this is their dynamic, and it's really we're still establishing things but also moving it along. It's like doing it and then moving around. I did see like Cornbread's bring up their big three thing. I thought that was kind of funny. It's like wizards, robots, or aliens. That was very funny in that everyone has these terms. It's very Marvel kind of jokey and stuff like that. But I think the main thing with what's going on with here is the idea of legacy and the idea of identity, which is a continuing thing, which you also saw in WandaVision, but this seems to establish much more with Falcon as well as Winter Soldier or Bucky, because their identities, which were very much tied to Captain America or Steve. Steve is not dead, but just really old. Like, they act like he's dead, but he's not dead though, right? I mean, he didn't die. That's weird, whatever. But they basically, I mean, he's not, I don't know, they're just like, we'll just leave him alone, he's like old. Seems to be their thing. But I think Falcon more so, because he's not only dealing with, like, I don't know if he necessarily wants to be Captain America, and that's something I talked about last week with the first episode, is that, you know, he's already Falcon. We saw in the first episode he did that cool thing with the flying. It seems like he really likes being Falcon. He'd have to stop doing that and be Captain America. And it's kind of like the idea of like, oh, well, you could be a famous person or something, but you're not you. Do you really want that? And I think that's sort of what he's going through, as well as seeing the legacy of when we get to the character of Olive. Come here. Do you want to, come on. Come on. She's almost here. Right here. Come here. You want to come here? Do you want to be on the show with me? No. You okay? What's bothering you? People are watching us. You know that? Do you know? This will be cut out later. Don't worry. Do you want to be in the review? Alright. You can be here. Sorry if this... Okay, so the whole idea of identity in Falcon Winter Soldier plays into what we saw when we see him in Baltimore, which I like that sequence a lot, as I am from Baltimore, and that police sequence was very much something I had experienced anytime I was walking with a black friend. That was 100% what would happen. I was like, oh my god, this is that's very real. I don't know if it was shot in Baltimore, actually. I'm not sure. It looked like an area in Baltimore. I believed it. But when they meet up with Isaiah Bradley, who's the super soldier that Winter Soldier fought in Korea, in the Korean War, which I'm assuming is in Korea, that part was interesting because it gets into the whole idea of why Falcon is kind of worried, and the idea of kind of racism and how Black America has been treated by the government, which I think plays into why Falcon is apprehensive and he's not sure if he wants to be Steve and what that represents. And that's a lot to take on. Some people don't want to do that, actually, regardless of the metaphorical ramifications. Sometimes people turn that down, and the fact that he didn't know that, and that sort of changes perspective as well. I also like the whole idea of Wyatt Russell who is doing a great job. I like Wyatt Russell generally, but first off, he looks weird without a beard. He definitely has this sort of MAGA vibe, which I notice they're putting as many like black people around him to minimize the MAGA thing as much, but it's like definitely there. I'm sorry. That is 100% going on this whole time. He's interesting. I find it also interesting how he uses the system. Steve never used the system to trap someone like that, whereas Wyatt Russell's character will, which I think shows like how kind of evil he is, because most Captain America movies I find point out the problem with the system as well as praising sort of the good of it. It's kind of a theme. You see that in Winter Soldier, you see it in First Avenger, you see it in Civil War. It questions the system as well as saying like there's good in Americans and so forth. And this in a time where America, like, I don't think looks the best because of, right, Olive? Because of all the Trump stuff, it's kind of bringing into the fact that people who will use that system to their advantage to ultimately do something kind of shitty. Like it fucks with their relationship. And that actually, I found that moment really kind of wonderful, where Falcon's basically like, I don't want to deal with you anymore after this. And you can tell Bucky's actually really hurt by it, which I think, are you done? You want to leave? Okay. Hey. Okay, that was unnecessary. Yeah, okay. All right. You don't need to be getting mad at people, all right? Sorry. Anyway, she was a little upset, I think. But anyone who uses the American system, and we see, that through the cops and everything like that, I guess I'm leaving that thing as there's no way I can cut it out. It kind of shows the evil in the system, the evil that people can do with it, as well as like the whole thing with the flag smashers is also interesting. That action sequence is amazing. It was actually really good, on par with like theater level kind of stuff, like movie theater level or mainstream movie theater kind of thing. I thought that was really good. But also when you talk about like they want things to go back before the blip came back or whatever it is, they also mentioned like they're all getting like healthcare that was good healthcare. It was like, wait a minute, like I kind of agree with that though. Like everyone should get good healthcare. I don't really mind that part. I think they actually have a point. Maybe them being super soldiers and attacking people, I'm not so into that, but like, why are we fighting them? It seems like they want to get healthcare to people who don't have it. I don't know if that I don't really have a problem with that. So I like where the show is going. I like how it's set up. I think it is in some ways structured in a way much like how I talk about Pete Browngardt with Looney Tunes, where if you kind of do this not showy kind of quality, but consistent quality, it's something that people aren't as attached to. And I think that's really what this show's doing. I think that's like what Cap as a franchise is doing. But I'm curious where this is going, because it's so economical and so straightforward. It's kind of just a nice, pleasant show to go through, because it's just like, I think it 100% knows what it's doing. And that's interesting to see, because I feel like with a lot of people when they take on these series, you can't feel the confidence that this show really has. So I'm going to see, I'm very positive on the show right now. I think it is really cool. I like where it's going. I like what it's saying. I know there has been some people on Twitter, like that guy, I know his Twitter name is Dwayne Maximoff. I apologize to him that I don't remember it. He was saying that he doesn't like that so many superhero things end up being about racism, and he finds like it gets a little old after a certain point. And I definitely understand that perspective. I am reviewing this based on what it is, but I do think that is true. They could have maybe done this more about Falcon and his own feelings and not taken on that stuff, but I think because America has such a past with that, I think it's hard to not get into it. So anyway, let's see where it's going, and I like where it's going so far. All right, so